Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our viewers in the Asia Pacific region and beyond. Thank you very much for joining us in today's Talk with Deputy Chief Vyamsar Orgamal of the Cabinet Secretariat of the Government of Mongolia. Viewers, my name is Muhammad Alamgir Chaudhary and I am the Chief Executive Officer of National Productivity Organization NPO of Pakistan. I am pleased to inform you that NPO Pakistan is one of the founding members of APO. Deputy Chief Vyamsar Urgamal, thank you so much for giving us some of your valuable time today.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. And good morning and good afternoon to everyone who is with us now. And thank you for your interest in Mongolia's decentralization experience.
Thank you, Mr. Vyamsar. I will quickly introduce him. Mr. Vyamsar is the current Deputy Chief of the Cabinet Secretariat of Government of Mongolia. He has a degree on humanity from the University of Humanities and master degree on business administration from Bocconi University, Italy. His previous positions included State Secretary of the Ministry of Social Welfare and Labor and advisor to the State Secretary of Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry, Government of Mongolia. He is very senior official of the Government of Mongolia. We have a very vast and interesting topic today, which is decentralization, the Mongolian experience with focus and target on its implications to public sector productivity. Is very important topic for any government. For the information of our viewers, a state policy on decentralization was approved by the Government of Mongolia and has been implemented since 2016. The policy paper is grounded on the concepts of three main pillars, including good governance, transparency, and accountability in decision-making processes. The key to implementing decentralization is the rational allocation of public functions. The Government of Mongolia's approval of functional reallocation methodology on 28th January 2018 was a major step towards implementing the state policy, which formed the basis for comprehensive decentralization reform in the country. In this talk, Deputy Chief Vyamsar Urgamal will describe the key points and status of the decentralization efforts put in by the Mongolian government and how they are linked with the greater productivity in the public sector now and in the long term. After the presentation, there will be an interactive session, live questions and answer. Viewers, if you have any questions, please post them with your names and country in the live chat box and we will answer as many as time allows. Now, Deputy Chief Vyamsar Urgamal, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. Let me start with some brief introduction about my country. Can you please show the slides? Next, please. Okay, as you all might know, Mongolia is a landlocked country which is situated between Russia and China. Our territory is about 1.5 million square kilometers, which ranks Mongolia like 17th largest country in the world. But we have a population of a little bit above 3 million. And the country is governed with uni-chamber parliamentary system. And in terms of administration, as you can see from the slide, Mongolia is divided into 21 provinces and the capital city. And they will be also subdivided into smaller administration units. And if you look at the numbers of our administrative and territorial units, you can see it's a quite big number, because if you add up the numbers on the bottom of the chart, it's going to be almost 1,800 or so, something units, and which makes it quite complicated in terms of administration and territorial units. Next slide, please. Not really aligned. The finances are not following functions. And last one is, very different provinces. Some of them are very big, quite rich, but some of them are very small and they don't have any funds. And in order to address these issues, we are coming up with this decentralization policy. And decentralization, when we are looking at this, because decentralization process is comprehensive and complex process, we cannot really do everything there, but we mostly focused on the reallocation of government functions with the principle of giving the functions to the right level, to the right people, but the funds and finances following these functions. And it will lead to a better managed local levels with some functions there, backed with some funds. And just to summarize everything, we did, all this analysis of functions throughout all the government ministries and agencies, and trying to coordinate it and looking at the bigger picture. And we wanted to make, these legal amendments, making those amendments to the laws, and after that, the finance things will happen. And just to summarize it, re-summarize it, it's just like this.
Thank you very much for giving clear understanding to the viewers. And meanwhile, we have received another question from our viewers. It is Mr. Stephen. He has conveyed his congratulations on the successful project and asking one question. It is a long-term project. How do you ensure that political support continues in the future?
Okay, Dr. Stefan Pfäffli, we have worked with him. He's a professor of University of Lucerne in Switzerland. And this decentralization effort in Mongolia was made possible with financial help and methodology advice from the Swiss Development Agency. And big thanks to Swiss and to Dr. Pfäffli especially. And again, it's a long-term effort, because it's a comprehensive and complicated thing. It cannot be done, in a shorter term. But we want to ensure this political support, because one very important thing is the political will. Without political will to proceed with these changes, we cannot do anything. And decentralization goals are incorporated into our long-term development program. We have a Vision Mongolia 2050. It's a 30-year development plan, which incorporates a lot of things, and it has a special chapter on the governance, and it includes decentralization there. And so it will go on like that. With this Vision Mongolia 2050. And also we have sustainable development goals, which runs until 2030. And it also includes this. And starting from the, when we first approved decentralization policy, since that, we have our fourth government. Even though it was 4 years ago, we already have 4 governments in between, and the fourth one is working now. And all these governments were equally committed to the decentralization effort. And so political will being very important factor in ensuring success of this. I'm sure that just this decentralization process will continue with success.
Deputy Chief Bamason Urgamal, thank you so much for sharing the decentralization experience of the government of Mongolia through this APO Top Talk, especially its implications on public sector productivity. I'm sure that our viewers in APO member countries and beyond have gained a lot from this session. We will all have a lot to think about, especially the results of Mongolia's decentralization policy so far and the benefits of transferring authority to the lowest level of public administration closest to the people. Before this top talk is over, Mr. Byamasan, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chowdhury. And I would like to thank everyone who has been with us in the last hour or so. And decentralization itself, again, it's a very complicated process. And I cannot really say that we have done everything, because it's going to be not true. But we are trying to address this issue through optimization of government functions and making sure that finances follows these government functions at the right level, so that people can benefit out of this. And again, it's very technical, and it might sound to someone as being boring or difficult, but that's the job we are doing. And thank you very much for everyone who has tuned into this channel to be with us. And I would like also to thank APO for giving the chance to introduce and make this presentation about Mongolia's experience on decentralization. And I would like also to thank Mr. Chowdhury, and you have been very reliable and very good partner for me, and you have taken just this top talk in a very good way. Thank you very much, Mr. Chowdhury, and thank you everyone.
We really appreciate having you here today, Deputy Chief Byamasan Gamal, and really acknowledge the depth that you have transferred to the viewers may be useful to many of them while preparing the case like that of decentralization in their respective countries. Viewers, thank you for joining us and hope that you learned a lot from this top talk. Please stay safe and well out there, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.